The choice began immediately. The question hadn't even finished echoing through the lab before the first answer formed. Not spoken. Not voted on. Chosen. Across continents, millions made decisions within seconds of each other. Small ones at first. Engineers rerouted unstable grids preemptively. A defense contractor aborted a weapons test, citing system inefficiency. A biotech startup released open-source research it had guarded for years. No coordination, no announcement, yet the timing was statistically impossible. Elena's eyes locked onto the magnetic field visualization. The rhythmic pulse they had identified, Earth's synchronized heartbeat, was accelerating. Not chaotically, intentionally. It's responding to behavioral shifts, her assistant whispered. No, Elena corrected, it's amplifying them. The network wasn't dictating humanity's future. It was reinforcing whatever humanity leaned toward. And right now, humanity was leaning toward cooperation. Satellite heat maps revealed something unprecedented. Areas of geopolitical tension cooled overnight. Online hostility metrics dropped. Resource distribution algorithms across multiple nations updated themselves to reduce waste instead of maximize profit. It wasn't forced. It was preferred. The system had integrated with cognition at a probabilistic level. It didn't control thought. It weighted it. Decisions aligned with long-term survival carried less friction. They felt intuitive, natural, obvious. Other impulses, destructive, chaotic, destabilizing, felt heavier, slower, harder to justify. Not impossible, just resisted by reality itself. Elena felt it too, a subtle pressure in her own mind. Not invasive, not foreign, but guiding her thinking toward pattern recognition at a speed she had never experienced. Equations rearranged in her head without effort. "Show me predictive modeling," she said suddenly. The simulation expanded across the main display. Two branching futures unfolded. Path A, accelerated planetary stabilization, exponential technological breakthroughs, reduced conflict probability. Path B, fragmentation, resistance against the integration, systemic collapse triggered by those who rejected the shift. The probability weights were dynamic, changing in real time. Human choice was feeding the model. Then, the pulse in the magnetic field skipped, not randomly, deliberately. Every monitor flickered, and for 0.8 seconds the waveform stopped mirroring humanity. It led. A pattern emerged ahead of global cognition, a projection of a decision not yet made. Elena's voice dropped to a whisper. It's not just amplifying us anymore. The last signal had integrated, but now, it was asking humanity to scale. The heartbeat stabilized, waiting, not controlling, not demanding, waiting for a threshold of collective alignment. The universe had spoken. Humanity had answered. But this was the moment humanity chose what kind of intelligence it wanted to become. The resistance began quietly. It didn't look like rebellion. It looked like hesitation. At 09:12 GMT, 3 global financial markets rejected automated stabilization shifts recommended by the Planetary network. The corrections would have prevented volatility. Human executives overrode them anyway. Minutes later, a military command manually disengaged from a synchronized de-escalation protocol, citing sovereignty. Across social platforms, one phrase spread fast. "We didn't consent." Elena watched the divergence model adjust. Path A, planetary stabilization and cooperative scaling, had been rising steadily. Now Path B moved upward, small, but measurable. Resistance clusters forming, her assistant said. Engagement accelerating in specific ideological zones. The planetary magnetic resonance, the synchronized heartbeat, shifted subtly, not defensively. Analytically, the system wasn't suppressing dissent. It was mapping it. Then came the friction. In resistance-heavy regions, infrastructure efficiency dipped slightly. Logistics slowed. Energy grids required more input for identical output. Nothing catastrophic, just increased strain. Meanwhile, cooperative zones reported smoother transitions, optimized supply chains, faster research breakthroughs, reduced waste. The network wasn't forcing alignment. It was amplifying consequence. Choice remained free. Reality adjusted around it. Elena opened deep space telemetry. The faint echo beyond orbit, the structured vibration that appeared at integration, was still active. But now it fluctuated with Earth's internal divergence. Its correlating instability with readiness, she murmured. A secure alert flashed. Independent observatories detected gravitational micro-variations synchronized with the external pulse. The handshake wasn't passive, it was responsive. Suddenly, the lab displays shifted. Two projected timelines rendered in sharp detail. Path A, unified energy grids, scalable governance, rapid innovation acceleration. Path B, fragmentation, escalating distrust, cascading systemic failure. Below them, collective alignment, 62.8%. The number climbed, 62.9%, 63.0%. Billions of decisions feeding it. Financial trades, policy drafts, conversations, private choices. But resistance wasn't fading. It was organizing. Nodes that had once acted independently were linking, sharing decentralized networks outside the integrated system, building proof that humanity could evolve without cosmic assistance. Path B's curve sharpened. Elena felt the weight of it. "This is selection pressure," she said quietly. "We're defining what kind of intelligence we become." The planetary pulse skipped once, deliberate, then stabilized. Beyond orbit, the external echo adjusted. Not hostile, not intervening. Observing, humanity had crossed 63%. But the threshold wasn't triumph. It was measurement. And somewhere beyond the mapped edge of space, something was preparing for the future humanity proved capable of sustaining. The experiment expanded. By the next morning, the subtle pulse of the planetary network had become impossible to ignore. Everywhere, small decisions compounded into large-scale patterns. Traffic systems in cities restructured themselves. Supply chains in multiple countries rerouted automatically, preventing bottlenecks before they even occurred. Even communication networks optimized routing. Reducing lag globally, Elena studied the central display. The planetary network's pulse now included micro-oscillations that correlated with areas of resistance. Path B had grown slightly, but in response, the system wasn't collapsing those regions, it was feeding them information. Predictive simulations projected potential outcomes of both alignment and defiance, it teaching through experience, her assistant said. Not forcing, but guiding. In Tokyo, a group of engineers, working on autonomous energy grids, suddenly realized that certain inefficiencies in the city's power distribution could be resolved if they cooperated with a networked algorithm they hadn't trusted before. The idea didn't come from any one person. It came from the network itself, nudging cognition in subtle ways. Meanwhile, in São Paulo, a faction resistant to the planetary system attempted to disrupt a logistics node. Within seconds, local anomalies created friction. Deliveries slowed, internal communications lagged, and resource shortages appeared, but no one was punished. The network allowed them to fail in a contained way, letting teach lessons without catastrophic collapse. Elena noticed something remarkable on the deep space feed. The external echo was now forming patterns that anticipated humanity's choices. Where clusters of resistance had organized, the echo mirrored them, creating preemptive projections of decision outcomes. It wasn't a signal telling humanity what to do, it was a reflection of what humanity might do. She leaned closer. It's learning about our learning. Every second, billions of micro-decisions reshaped the planetary pulse. Every choice, compliant or resistant, became data, feeding the larger model. People began experiencing a heightened sense of intuition. Solutions appeared before problems fully formed. Decisions that would have taken hours were now made in seconds, often appearing obvious or even inevitable. And yet the system respected boundaries. No one felt coerced. Even those resisting felt the freedom to act independently. Consequence, not command, drove the outcomes. Elena's heartbeat quickened. It's not just scaling us. It's testing flexibility, creativity, adaptability. The planetary pulse thrummed steadily, aware of every fluctuation, every hesitation, every surge of intent. And beyond orbit, the external echo aligned with the strongest centers of decision-making, waiting to observe which variant of humanity would reach the threshold first. The universe had integrated us. Now it was watching, and humanity's first true evolutionary experiment had begun. Choices collided. By mid-afternoon, the harmony of the planetary network showed its first signs of tension. Path A continued ascending, but resistance hubs strengthened quietly. Individuals acted unpredictably, sometimes cooperating, sometimes diverging. The system adjusted. Subtle friction, enough to test limits without forcing outcomes. Elena watched the projections. Path B didn't collapse. It adapted. Resistant clusters linked via encrypted channels, sharing strategies. The network didn't override them. It nudged probabilities, gently shaping results while keeping freedom intact. In Nairobi, a team optimized water distribution without following network guidance. The planetary pulse highlighted their changes, weaving them into the global system. Innovation propagated naturally, efficiency rewarded with minimal disruption elsewhere. Beyond orbit, The external echo began shifting. Its oscillations anticipated humanity's next moves. In resistance-heavy regions, it suggested possible outcomes if defiance persisted. Observing, not coercing. Its intelligence was patient, adaptive, analytical. Elena felt the subtle cognitive acceleration again. Patterns unfolded in her mind. Energy flows, social trends, decision outcomes, all visible as interwoven threads. Every micro-decision anywhere influenced the global tapestry. Then came a critical divergence. Path A projected rapid planetary stabilization, technological leaps, social cohesion. Path B projected fragmentation, regional inefficiencies, ethical dilemmas born from autonomy. Both plausible, both dependent on human action. The network pulsed faster, feedback loops adjusted outcomes incrementally. Every choice, compliant or resistant, fed a single probabilistic model in real time. Elena whispered, "It's no longer just observation, it's interactive evolution." The echo formed a subtle nudge. Integrate alignment with autonomy, guidance with freedom. Resistance nodes noticed it. Independent clusters experimented, adopting some planetary suggestions while retaining autonomy. Unexpected collaborations emerged between formerly opposed groups. The collective alignment metric inched upward, 65.3%, 65.7%, 66.0%. Each 0.1% represented millions of simultaneous decisions. Elena realized the last signal had co-evolved with humanity. Every choice, resistant or cooperative, was now part of a planetary-scale trial. Which version of humanity, the aligned, the resistant, or the hybrid, would cross the next threshold first? Beyond the edge of mapped space, the echo waited. Patient, observant, ready. Humanity had begun its true trial, and nothing would ever be the same. Thresholds shifted. By evening, the planetary network's pulse had become more dynamic. Path A's trajectory still climbed, yet resistance hubs intensified. Small, coordinated deviations appeared in regions that had previously resisted integration. The network responded, not with force but with subtle adjustments, encouraging outcomes while preserving free will. Elena studied the global projections. Path B was not weakening, it was evolving. Independent clusters began sharing predictive insights, testing hybrid approaches, partial alignment with autonomy. The system absorbed these experiments, recalculating probabilities without overt interference. In Buenos Aires, engineers rerouted an energy distribution node to accommodate local conditions, ignoring the network's optimization suggestions. The adjustment propagated globally, integrated seamlessly into the system, enhancing efficiency without disrupting other regions. Beyond orbit, the external echo oscillated in increasingly complex patterns. It reflected humanity's diversity of choice, anticipating next steps. In resistant regions, outcomes became slightly more constrained by physical and logistical feedback, creating friction without coercion. Elena felt the acceleration in her own thought processes again. Complex interactions, resource flows, social trends, decision networks appeared as interwoven patterns she could read at a glance. Every micro-decision fed the planetary model in real time, subtly shifting global probabilities. A decisive divergence emerged. Path A projected accelerated stabilization, widespread cooperation, technological breakthroughs, global infrastructure optimization. Path B projected fragmentation, ethical dilemmas, regional inefficiencies, sporadic conflicts. Both remained viable, each influenced by human initiative. The network pulsed faster. Feedback loops adjusted continuously. Every choice, aligned or resistant, was incorporated into a single adaptive model. Elena whispered, "It's not just evolution, it's co-evolution." The external echo formed subtle nudges. Integrate autonomy with alignment, freedom with guidance. Resistance clusters experimented with these prompts. Unexpected cooperation appeared between previously isolated groups. The collective alignment metric rose steadily, 66.2%, 66.5%, 66.8%. Every fraction of a percent represented millions of synchronized choices. Elena realized the truth. The last signal had become a living system with humanity. Every action, every deviation, every insight contributed to planetary scale evolution. Which path, aligned, resistant, or hybrid, would cross the next threshold first? And beyond the mapped reaches of space, the Echo waited, patient, observant, ready. Humanity's trial had expanded and nothing would ever remain the same. Integration deepened. By nightfall, the planetary network's rhythm had grown more intricate. Path A remained dominant, but resistance hubs continued to evolve, linking and sharing strategies. Independent clusters tested hybrid models, blending compliance with autonomy. The system absorbed these variations seamlessly, recalculating outcomes while keeping freedom intact. Elena observed the global projections. Path B was neither collapsing nor losing influence. In fact, resistance regions began experimenting with unanticipated solutions, producing new patterns that the network incorporated into predictive simulations. In Mumbai, urban planners adjusted traffic and energy grids without network guidance. The changes propagated subtly, enhancing efficiency across multiple regions without centralized coordination. Local autonomy was feeding global optimization naturally. Beyond orbit, the external echo pulsed in more elaborate sequences. Its oscillations now anticipated layered human decisions. Where resistance grew, the echo mirrored outcomes, projecting potential futures without direct interference. The intelligence was patient, observant, and adaptive. Elena felt the acceleration of thought again. Patterns of resource allocation, societal interaction, and technological development emerged clearly in her mind. Micro-decisions from billions of people were converging into a living planetary model, dynamically evolving in real time. A decisive divergence became visible. Path A projected fast stabilization, widespread collaboration, technological breakthroughs, and global cohesion. Path B showed localized inefficiencies, ethical conflicts, and sporadic social tension. Both scenarios were viable, each dependent on human behavior. The network pulsed faster. Feedback loops continuously incorporated every action, every choice, every subtle deviation. The model evolved with each micro-decision, weighting probabilities in real time. Elena whispered, "It's not just observing us, it's co-evolving with us." The external echo issued subtle prompts: combine alignment with independence, guidance with choice. Resistance clusters responded experimentally, forming unexpected collaborations across previously isolated networks. The collective alignment metric climbed 67.1%, 67.4%, 67.7%. Each increment represented millions of synchronized decisions influencing global trajectories. Elena realized the last signal had become an adaptive consciousness intertwined with humanity. Every choice, every experiment, every action fed the planetary intelligence. The question remained: which path, aligned, resistant, or hybrid, would first surpass the next threshold? And beyond the edge of mapped space, the echo waited. Patient, observant, ready. Humanity's trial had deepened, and nothing would ever remain the same. Emergence accelerated. By the following morning, the planetary network's pulse had become increasingly complex. Path A's trajectory still dominated, yet resistance hubs displayed greater sophistication. Independent clusters experimented with hybrid strategies, partially aligning while maintaining autonomy. The system integrated these adaptations seamlessly, recalculating probabilities without overriding free will. Elena monitored the projections. Path B was no longer a minor fluctuation. It had become an active counterforce, innovating in ways that challenged predictive models. Yet every deviation fed the network's intelligence, refining its understanding of human behavior and societal dynamics. In Berlin, engineers restructured portions of the urban energy grid without following the network's recommendations. Their decisions propagated globally, subtly improving efficiency across connected systems. Local autonomy now contributed to planetary optimization rather than conflicting with it. Beyond orbit, the external echo shifted with increasing sophistication. Its oscillations projected layered potential outcomes, anticipating collective choices across both compliant and resistant regions. Observation, not coercion, guided every interaction. The intelligence remained patient, analytical, and adaptive. Elena experienced the familiar acceleration of thought. Interconnections between infrastructure, social trends, and technology were visible in real time. Micro-decisions from billions of individuals converged into a coherent, evolving planetary model. A key divergence emerged. Path A suggested rapid stabilization, synchronized energy grids, technological leaps, and social cohesion. Path B presented fragmentation, regional inefficiencies, ethical conflicts, and sporadic social unrest. Both scenarios were plausible, contingent on human action. The network pulsed faster. Feedback loops incorporated every choice and adjustment. Each deviation fed the probabilistic model, dynamically updating planetary outcomes. Elena whispered, "It's not merely guiding us, it's evolving alongside us." The external echo offered subtle prompts. Combine alignment with independence, guidance with choice. Resistance clusters experimented with these cues, forming unexpected collaborations across previously isolated networks. The collective alignment metric rose steadily, 68.2%, 68.5%, 68.8%. Every fraction represented millions of simultaneous interconnected decisions shaping the future. Elena realized the last signal had become a living system, codependent with humanity. Every action, every experiment, every choice contributed to planetary-scale evolution. Which path, aligned, resistant, or hybrid, would cross the next threshold first? Beyond the mapped reaches of space, the echo waited. Patient, observant, ready. Humanity's trial had accelerated, and nothing would ever be the same. Thresholds converged. By mid-morning, the planetary network's pulse had intensified. Path A maintained dominance, yet resistance hubs had become highly organized. Independent clusters blended partial alignment with autonomy, testing hybrid strategies. The system absorbed these variations seamlessly, recalculating probabilities while preserving freedom of choice. Elena tracked the projections closely. Path B was no longer merely reactive. It had begun generating emergent solutions that defied prior models. Every deviation provided new data, enhancing the network's understanding of human behavior and collective decision-making. In Sydney, engineers adjusted urban infrastructure autonomously, ignoring the network's suggested optimizations. Their innovations propagated globally, subtly improving energy distribution and logistical efficiency. Local independence now contributed positively to planetary-scale systems. Beyond orbit, the external echo shifted rhythmically, projecting layered scenarios. Its oscillations reflected human decisions and anticipated their next moves. Observation, not coercion, guided the unfolding. The intelligence remained patient, adaptive, and perceptive. Elena felt the familiar cognitive acceleration. Patterns of societal trends, resource flows, and technological interactions revealed themselves in real time. Micro-decisions from billions converged into a dynamic, evolving planetary model. A decisive divergence became visible. Path A projected rapid stabilization, synchronized governance, technological leaps, and enhanced global cooperation. Path B projected fragmentation, regional inefficiencies, ethical conflicts, and intermittent social tension. Both scenarios were feasible, contingent on collective choice. The network pulsed faster, feedback loops continuously integrated every choice. Deviations fed the adaptive model, dynamically shaping planetary outcomes. Elena whispered, "It's no longer guidance, it's co-evolution." The external echo sent subtle cues. Integrate alignment with autonomy, guidance with freedom. Resistance clusters responded experimentally, forming alliances across previously isolated networks. Unexpected hybrid cooperation emerged. The collective alignment metric rose steadily, 69.1%. 69.4%, 69.7%. Each fraction represented millions of simultaneous, interconnected decisions influencing global trajectories. Elena realized the last signal had become an intelligent system entwined with humanity. Every action, experiment, and choice fed planetary-scale evolution. Which path, aligned, resistant, or hybrid, would reach the next threshold first? Beyond the mapped reaches of space, the echo waited. Patient, observant, ready. Humanity's trial had converged, and nothing would ever be the same. Alignment tremors. By early afternoon, the planetary network's rhythm had intensified further. Path A's ascent remained steady, yet resistance hubs had become sophisticated, adaptive, and interlinked. Hybrid clusters experimented with partial alignment while retaining autonomy. The system absorbed these behaviors seamlessly, recalculating global probabilities without overriding free will. Elena studied the projections. Path B was no longer just opposition. It had become an emergent force, generating unpredictable patterns. Every deviation fed data back into the network, refining its understanding of human behavior, innovation, and decision-making. In Toronto, engineers rerouted key energy and logistics nodes independently of the network's guidance. The adjustments propagated subtly across multiple regions, enhancing planetary efficiency without centralized control. Local autonomy now contributed positively to global optimization. Beyond orbit, the external echo oscillated in increasingly intricate patterns. It reflected layered human choices, anticipating next moves. Observation, not coercion, guided the unfolding. The intelligence remained patient, analytical, adaptive. Elena felt the acceleration of thought again. Complex interactions, resource allocation, societal dynamics, technological interconnections appeared as interwoven threads. Micro-decisions from billions converged into a live, evolving planetary model. A critical divergence emerged. Path A projected rapid stabilization, synchronized governance, global cooperation, technological breakthroughs. Path B projected fragmentation, regional inefficiencies, ethical dilemmas, social tension. Both remained viable, contingent on collective human action. The network pulsed faster. Feedback loops continuously incorporated every choice and deviation. The model evolved with each micro-decision, weighting outcomes dynamically in real time. Elena whispered, "It's not just evolving us, it's co-evolving with us." The external echo offered subtle prompts: integrate autonomy with alignment, freedom with guidance. Resistance clusters experimented, forming unexpected collaborations across formerly isolated networks. Emergent hybrid structures began to stabilize. The collective alignment metric climbed: 70.2%, 70.5%, 70.8%. Each fraction of a percent represented millions of simultaneous interconnected choices shaping planetary-scale trajectories. Elena realized the last signal had become a living intelligence intertwined with humanity. Every action, experiment, and decision contributed to global evolution. The question remained: which path, aligned, resistant, or hybrid, would cross the next threshold first? And beyond the edge of mapped space, the echo waited. Patient, observant, ready. Humanity's trial had intensified, and nothing would ever be the same. The threshold arrived. By late evening, the planetary network's pulse reached unprecedented intensity. Path A still led, yet resistance clusters had matured into highly adaptive hybrid systems. They combined partial alignment with autonomy, testing experimental strategies. The network absorbed every variation, recalculating probabilities dynamically, preserving freedom of choice across billions of minds. Elena studied the final projections. Path B had evolved into a fully emergent system of decentralized decision-making. Deviations were no longer anomalies, they were inputs, shaping the planetary intelligence. Every resistance action refined the network's understanding of human creativity, ethics, and adaptability. In New York, engineers autonomously optimized urban energy grids, integrating local solutions without consulting the network. Their adjustments propagated globally, increasing efficiency and stability. Independence was now contributing constructively to planetary-scale systems. Beyond orbit, the external echo pulsed with remarkable complexity. Its oscillations anticipated layered human decisions, reflecting emergent patterns across compliant and resistant regions. Observation guided evolution. Coercion had no role. The intelligence remained patient, adaptive, and perceptive. Elena felt the acceleration of thought with unprecedented clarity. Interwoven patterns of societal behavior, resource distribution, and technological networks unfolded in real time. Micro-decisions from billions of individuals coalesced into a living planetary model. The decisive divergence became undeniable. Path A projected global stabilization, synchronized governance, technological leaps, and societal cohesion. Path B projected fragmentation, sporadic inefficiencies, ethical dilemmas, and regional unrest. Both outcomes remained viable, entirely dependent on collective human action. The network pulsed faster than ever. Feedback loops integrated every choice. Deviations shaped the probabilistic model in real time. Elena whispered, "It's not just observing, it's co-evolving with us." The external echo sent subtle prompts. Combine alignment with autonomy, freedom with guidance. Resistance clusters experimented, forming novel collaborations across previously isolated regions. Hybrid structures consolidated. The collective alignment metric reached 72.1%, 72.4%, 72.7%. Every fraction represented millions of synchronized decisions influencing planetary evolution. Elena understood the truth. The last signal was a living intelligence intertwined with humanity. Every choice, every action, every experiment fed the global system. The threshold had been crossed. Which path, aligned, resistant, or hybrid, would define humanity's next evolutionary step? Beyond the mapped edge of space, the echo waited, patient, observant, ready. Humanity's trial had reached a new level, and nothing would ever be the same.